Greetings, Chads, it's me, Nihilistic Nerd, and today I want to talk about Phantasy Star Online 2. Phantasy Star Online 2. More particularly, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. If you're not aware, I've put up 2 videos of Phantasy Star on my channel. The first one discussing how the launch was totally marred by Microsoft's really bad Microsoft Store, and the second one about how Steam essentially saved PSO2. Unfortunately, I think the damage done by the Microsoft Store launch did a decent amount of damage to it. I've had friends that wanted to play that won't play now because they just don't feel like downloading it again. It's like a 70 gig game, and the fact that the Microsoft Store went and kind of boned everything up. I could get into all the reasons why PSO2 launched really poorly and why I hate Microsoft and Sega, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what I want to see from Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. I should state that some of the things that I would like may have been already confirmed or deconfirmed. I haven't actually watched all of the live streams and caught up with the news. That's a lot of stuff. Also, I don't have time to watch an hour and a half live stream that is poorly dubbed in English. No offense to the translator, I didn't like his voice. It sounded like Chris Chan, I suppose.
This does not even deserve a Captain's Log introduction.
The first big improvement that I want, which has pretty much been seen already, is an improved combat system. From the footage I've seen, it looks pretty good. It's not on par with stuff like, Devil May Cry or Nier Automata, which I keep going back to, of course, but it looks like it's very well developed. They got rid of that perfect attack system, which was kind of annoying, to be 100% honest. The combat is looking very well done. I really appreciate that, because combat did feel a little dated on PSO2. There were games out there that did combat slightly better, like Warframe, for instance. One of the biggest complaints with Phantasy Star Online 2 is its egregious menu system. It's very clunky and it feels heavy, if you know what I'm saying. It's very heavy. A lot of people don't like it. It's the biggest complaint I've seen, other than, the kind of mediocre graphics. So it's good to see that the Phantasy Star Online team has taken notice of this and are trying to fix it in the New Genesis update. I don't know how much better it's going to be, but hopefully it will be much nicer, because, good lord, it is kind of a pain to navigate. Something that hasn't been confirmed, and probably won't be, I'm fairly certain they're not going to include these things, are the inclusion of vehicles. I would like to see the return and complete overhaul of Ridroids. The base game, the Ridroid, is one of the worst parts of Phantasy Star Online 2. The modes you play it with are just not fun. They're boring, and they control awful. Just the worst thing ever. I believe the fix for the Ridroid is pretty simple, and it's to make it function like the Sparrow of the Destiny franchise. Make it as just a mode of transportation to get you from one place to the other faster. This also removes the more gimmicky aspect of it. Of course, the players already do have a photon dash and a photon jump ability and a photon glide. Those might be the right names, I don't know. So the inclusion of a pretty much fast-moving vehicle might not be even viable at this point. I don't know how big the world is going to be. On the discussion of vehicles returning, we need to mention the AIS. I would love to see the return and complete restructuring of AISs. For those of you who are not aware of what an AIS is, it's pretty much a mech. So, in a couple missions you can use it, and it's quite fun. However, the AIS is incredibly underutilized, and it's not really customizable. One of the best things about mech games in general is the ability to customize them. One of my biggest dream lists is to have the AISs be able to be called down in the open field. Of course, The balancing is going to have to be reworked for them because originally they're designed to be in one-off scenarios rather than being utilized at all times. That's why this one most likely won't happen, unfortunately. As a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles X and mecha anime in general, having a game like PSO2 utilize customizable mechs even on half of the spectrum of Xenoblade Chronicles X would be pretty much a dream come true for me.
Aren't they just the coolest? Just everything about them. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Actually, I don't normally show this to people, but I've been working on some Skell fanfiction. Hold on, I'll just pull it up here 1 sec.
Lynn?
Oh, right. Sorry.
I'm still waiting on that Skell fanfiction.
Something I'd really like to see them overhaul in PSO2 New Genesis is changing up the currency system. There are so many currencies in PSO2, and that's not including just Meseta, Fun, and Arcs Cash. There's other currencies that you use pretty much like X cubes and medals and stuff like that. It creates this really confusing atmosphere of not knowing what buys what. I still have no idea how to properly utilize the swap shop of all things, so I'm hoping that they cut back on the premium currencies and make it a bit more smooth, especially for new players or players like me who are half retarded. Now, the issue with this is PSO2 and PSO2 New Genesis are going to exist side by side, so that means that the majority of the currencies are likely to return. I just hope that I'm wrong. Finally, I want to see a multi-console release with this game. No offense to Xbox players, but the Xbox player base is probably pretty small because most people playing Xbox don't play RPGs. I'm sorry, there's just not that many great JRPGs that release on the Xbox. Even in Japan, I think Japan doesn't have it as an Xbox game. It has it on the Switch and the PS4 and likely the PS5, I'm assuming, as well, but I don't think they have it on the Xbox, and that's because the Xbox doesn't sell well in Japan because Japanese people don't want to fucking play Call of Duty and Gears of War. No offense to those games, I'm sure they're all great. I would love to see it available for more players because mainly I want to play with my brother who has a PS4 and he can't afford to buy a computer to play Phantasy Star Online 2 with me. And that's all I can think of at this time for what I want from PSO2 New Genesis. What do you want from PSO2 New Genesis? Do you agree with the stuff I say? Or do you think I'm a fucking moron and I'm completely wrong about the premium currencies being a problem? Or maybe you think AISs actually suck. Tell me why in the comments below. I'm interested in hearing your opinions. That's it. Have a good one, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, okay.